All right, am I on? I think so. Let's check it out. I mean, I'm not really saying it. All right, so this is Magneto project. I'm starting. This is the very, very beginning of it. I've got all my parts printed here, and I'm going to start some assembly today. Yeah, so let's get this thing moving. I think I'm probably going to start with the cape, just because it has the most to attach and fill and sand. There we go. All right. All right, cool. All right, sorry. Here, let's see. All right, so I guess the first thing I want to do here is glue these parts together and start sanding. I like to wet sand just because it keeps the dust level low, you know, in the work area here, and I've got good ventilation, but it's still like I like to keep stuff kind of clean. So yeah, I think I need to scuff these guys up a little bit. Let's see, 400 grit should do it. give them a little bit of a scuff here. Oh, it's like I don't want the sand anyway, so just go ahead and cut a big chunk. I'm also gonna have to get used to working not with my face in my projects, because the camera thing is new. So also, yeah, I just gonna have to figure out a new pattern here for work done. All right, I adjusted my mic volume down a little bit. This one's very bumpy. Should see it a little better now. This cape is gigantic. This is the first quarter scale statue I've done, and I'm pretty excited about it. It's gonna be pretty gigantic when it's all said and done. It's gonna be like 27 inches tall. So it's pretty big. I got a gigantic gap there, so that's going to be fun to fill, but for the most part, it should be good to go. Oh, that's a weird fit. A lot of expansion in this resin on this particular thing. That's okay. fix it. I can fix anything. Always remember the outside is more important than the inside when it comes to capes. Let's get some glue on there. Also, these were not the keys provided by the artist. Obviously, there are no keys. I took the whole cape and cut it into separate pieces myself because the original files had this cape divided into 6 pieces, and I was like, that's ridiculous. So I took the whole piece and did some custom cutting, but that also means that I don't have any alignment keys, so I have to kind of do this part by hand. But that's cool too. Sometimes it's just you gotta customize your prints for what you need. You know, it is not a precision thing. It's artistry. Close to the edge. That's okay. All the way down. And yeah, I'm a Gorilla super glue fan. A lot of people, you know, they'll I did get some 2-part epoxy though for this guy, just because he is going to be gigantic. So whenever it comes to the load bearing parts, when it comes to the load bearing parts of the statue, those will definitely be epoxy. But for the most part, this Gorilla Glue works great. The right parts here. Now I'm all confused. I'm all turned around. You know, mainly I like it because it's quick. I mean, once I get these into a position to get these to stop, get this thing to stop moving, and I can hold it still for 20 seconds, then it will cure pretty quickly. Oh, so now let's just give that a hold. Feels like it's stopped moving. Yeah, so now you can see I've got some large gaps there to fill. But that's cool. I get to show you guys how to fill gaps in resin, because there are tons and tons of ways to do this. You know, getting in there should be okay. I purposely cut this cape kind of right down a gap where I could easily kind of get to with my fingers, because I mean, you can see some of these gaps are super tiny. So anyway, yeah. All right, so I'm gonna give that a couple minutes to cure while I sand this other part, but it should be good to go. Pull this up. Look at that. All right. All right, I gotta really get into this now. I need to move a little faster. This is also not a quick hobby. You know, this is not something that you get into if you want results fast. You know, probably today all I'm gonna get to do is, you know, build this cape, sand it, get it all prepped and ready. I mean, obviously the goal is to move it along as far as you can every day, but in these early stages, it's really just grueling work. Not grueling, but you know what I'm saying. It's really just a whole lot of manual labor with your fingies. I do love this hobby though. And now, stream it on YouTube so I get to talk to myself. One thing about wet sanding though, your sandpaper gets kind of full kind of quick, full of muck. Oh, I got some nasty little hangers right here on this guy. Snap right off it, man. I also like to cut down my keys when I actually go to seat them in the models. I mean, unless I'm making something that is meant to be, I'm going to put a magnet in so I can take it off and on or whatever. I'll leave the key intact, but for the most part, I'll either just sand the key down a little bit on the top, or cut it off completely. All right. Another advantage of wet sanding is you can see more of like the high and low spots when you're sanding. So it's it kind of helps. I'm not clearly explaining myself, but you know what I'm saying. It's like the wet sand, if you let it dry for a second, the kind of the mud kind of settles, and then you can sort of see all of the differences in the topography of the model. So you see exactly where you need to go back and sand again. I'm gonna fill all this in with resin anyway, so it doesn't have to be completely smooth. Still don't want to put too much pressure on this glue. All right, there we go. Now we get the rest of this cape here situated. Something like, oh, I need to check the other side though. Yeah, this thing's kind of all over the place. I'm gonna have to do a bunch of gap filling here. That's why I like to start with a cape. I like to start with the hardest part first. I don't know what that says about, you know, my personality, but here we are. Get it mostly in line. Like that. What's up? What's up, man? Thanks for jumping in the chat. At least I know that stuff works. All right, let's see here. wonder if there's like a, hold on, I'm gonna be right back. Yes, you are subscriber number 1. Wait, I gotta. I don't know what these dots mean. Alright, cool. I'm trying to see if I can get like a little audio cue whenever a chat comes in. I don't think I can though. Trying out this new software, so. It's just all camera controls. Alright, I'll have to mess with this later. Alright. How's the audio? Is the audio good? I mean, like, I'm not too loud. Something like Streamlabs for the audio cue. Oh, okay. Alright. Yeah, no, so I have this like little command center set up so I can switch between camera 1 and camera 2. Or like do a split screen if I want to do a split screen, something like that. But I gotta reconfigure that. That looks terrible. So I just wasn't sure if this on a computer you can have. Yeah, I can see it. I just can't unless I'm just not looking. I guess my point is like I'm not gonna be looking over at the screen while I'm doing stuff, you know. So it would be cool to have a little ding. It's a little muffled. Oh, that's probably because my mic fell over. Hold on. I'm wearing a loose t-shirt. There. I know, right? It is fancy. I got a mic and everything. How's that? Is that better? All right. Let's get some glue on this guy. Kind of make it a little thick on this spot, on this piece, because the gap in this tape is gigantic. So I want it to kind of overfill a little bit. You know, then of course once I go in here with my resin torch and you know, cure it on the outside, it'll be pretty solid. So. Almost out of this bottle. Come on. Oh, that's not gonna work. You never have too much glue. I mean, I suppose you can, but I just mean gotta have all your supplies readily available. You know what I'm saying? All right. Okay, well that's good to know, because that's pretty much what I'm gonna do. I will look over occasionally and see what's going on, but you know, for the most part, I'm gonna be focused on what I'm doing. That was one of the things I promised myself when I was starting this whole YouTube business, is that if it becomes too troublesome, then, or cumbersome, then I will rethink it. Otherwise, it's actually, you know, like, it's actually a pretty cool thing. You know, you're basically like hanging out with people, you know, or hanging out with somebody and still doing your thing, you know? It's like, kind of reminds me of high school, like art, you know, the art room, the art house in back where I grew up. It's like everybody was just kind of working on their own projects, but you know, you're chit-chatting, you're listening to some lo-fi, jazz, whatever we got going on over there. I just put Spotify on play and just let it run. So, but yeah, kind of nice. That is set up pretty good. I got some misalignment right there. I would like to not have, but we don't always get what we want, do we? Yeah, this Gorilla Glue is the best. It's still workable for a few seconds. Then you only have to, you know, kind of hold it together for a little while and get a nice solid connection. I still like to let it cure, you know, like 24 hours or so before I do anything load bearing. You know, before I really start to really handle it, or you know, I'm gonna be hanging a part up, you know, for painting, drying, or whatever. Then Kenny G covers. That guy, Kenny G still alive? I don't even know anymore. I don't know what's going on in the outside world. I'll let that sit for a second. And we'll go sand the base for a little while. All right, here we go. Let's see. What do we got? What do we got happening? The dimples over here. That's gonna be a chunk. Are you always going to live stream or film and edit a full video? I'm probably going to live stream. I'm definitely going to be live streaming pretty much anytime I'm in my shop now. Mainly just to use YouTube as kind of an archive, you know, for my videos and for the production. But then at the end, I will do like a post-mortem kind of video, you know, or a kind of, I don't know what I'm going to call it yet. Just like a, you know, kind of a summary, like a what I learned kind of deal. Because one thing I found is that every single statue I've made, you know, I've always done something wrong or something I can do better. And so like now I'll have the footage and I can show the finished product, and then I can go back to the production footage and point out where I went wrong. And, you know, not only will that help me learn quicker to stop doing that shit, you know, it gets to put a little content out there for the world and for other people to learn. Because, you know, everything I know about this, I've learned from other people on YouTube. So I'm just kind of putting it back out there now. I'm also thinking, oh yeah, I was also thinking about doing some like quick tip kind of videos. You know, when stuff I can capture handheld, or if I'm not if I'm in between, you know, like live streams or whatever, and I want to do something, because a lot of my processing is going to be done, you know, not on camera at different times of the day. But you know, like, I got little tips and tricks while I'm doing stuff. I might make some little shorter clip videos too, because that kind of stuff always comes up. Oh, you know, yeah, I'm not. I you know, I think I'm just looking forward to getting into this on a more regular cadence. You know, I think this, having the, you know, building the stream is secondary to, you know, doing this, but it gives me a, I don't know, what's the word? It gives me a prod to kind of pick it up and do it on a more regular basis. Because it's like, I love this hobby so much, but at the same time, I'm like a professional procrastinator. So yeah, even stuff I enjoy doing, I often find that I procrastinate on, and it doesn't really make any sense. But here I am. But on a nice rainy Sunday like today down here, it's nice to just be able to turn off the brain and sand down some plastic, some resin. I don't want to sand that too much because it looks like there's some like texture in there. Nobody's gonna see the back anyway. Oh yeah, it's like a rock. I don't know if you can see it. It's like a kind of a rocky texture, so I don't want to sand too much of that down. But I do got a bunch of support bumps on the bottom there to get rid of. Thanks, man. How's the lights and stuff? Like, I'm trying to keep things in. Is everything in focus? Because like it's hard to tell from. It looks like it is. I think you can see it pretty well. If I hold it up. I'm dealing with a really big project right now. This is my first quarter scale, and so this guy is going to be gigantic when it's done. But I have a new, you know, cutout in my fireplace around the TV that I need to. I got to put something in there, so I sized this one custom to fit in that space. So it's actually not a full quarter scale. It's like see, it's like 142. No, it's like it's close. 148%. We'll just call it a quarter scale. All right, cool. Thanks, man. All right, right on. So I'm glad. Thanks for jumping on and helping me with the checking the chat, checking the system and stuff. And for being my first subscriber. Thank you. That's pretty rad. I don't know how I expect it to get underneath there. Got a few little support bumps here, but nobody's gonna see it. I don't even know why I'm wasting my time sanding it. I'm not even gonna really fill that hole either, because again, nobody's gonna see that. All right, man, that's cool. Like I said, thanks for dropping in, and yeah, I'll be on pretty much anytime I'm in the shop working. So, yeah, cool. Oh man, I'm gonna blow through. I need to get a rougher sandpaper though, because this 400 is just not doing the job. Let's see, what do I got here? I got 600, I got some phone stuff. Need like a, I don't know, like a roofing shingle. I just want to rip through this real quick. What's going on here? It's all 600, 800. That's going, 400 is going the wrong direction. Do I not have any? Oh, here we go. There it is. More abrasive paper. There it goes, a 120. That is a roofing shingle. I don't want to gouge it. 120 is gonna. That's for like serious. That's for serious material removal. Let's go up a little bit. I'm on a 120. Here's a 150. Here's a 180. 220. Let's go with 220. That feels good. That ought to. 220 ought to rip through that pretty quick. I wonder about the copyright issue with the music, though. This is actually royalty free from Spotify, so it's should be totally, you know, copyright, whatever. So, thank you though for checking on that. YouTube audio library copyright free music. Yeah, like I said, it's specifically this channel was specifically set up to be, you know, royalty free. So. And what happens? Well, actually, what happens if there's a copyright audio issue? Do they just strip the audio out of your stream, like completely? Or, yeah, I don't know. There's so many things I don't know. You know, I got to get organized because I'm making a mess back here. Oh yeah, that's much better. Sand down some of these bumps. Make sure it sits even. I'm sanding this down. Nobody's gonna see it, but it was driving me crazy. One of those, like, how you do anything is how you do everything. Even though nobody's gonna see this, I'm gonna know it's there. Oh yeah, now this is just blasting through these bits. Right tool for the job. They cut out all the sound and video part with the offending line. Okay. Or you can get a copyright strike 3 of those and they ban your channel. Ah. I need to see any of this. This is the front. Oh, it does have a separate little spot for the logo. Alright. I'm not going to light this one up anyway. I got these cool new induction switches that are on the way. So not this statue, but the next statue I'm doing is a Cyclops, and I'm gonna run some little LEDs up, for his visor, and I want to put in a little magnetic induction switch. So it's like you can drop a little piece on the model or shift it or change it or whatever, and then it'll make a connection. I think it's going to be pretty cool. So that'll be my next project after I get through this big bastard. I'm going to start I'm doing a X-Men run. I've got a lot of really good X-Men statues from Wicked, and they're just sitting in my library just waiting. I'm pretty stoked about that. I'm gonna need something to get in there. Burrs, really. Yeah, nobody's gonna see this, buddy. Just you. Well, I guess, and now people on YouTube, but look it over. Oh yeah, the Lobo. Yeah, I'm gonna do the Lobos. All right, I might have to, in honor of my first subscriber, I may have to do the Lobos, the Lobo next, because I also have that really cool statue. It's a really old one though, so the parts are a bit of a struggle to get together because they didn't subdivide the parts very well. But that'll be a fun paint. So yeah, I gotta do the Lobo soon. All right, what's happening over here? They need to make a Lobo movie. I feel like his character, I mean, there's a lot of crazy backstory and obviously a lot of other crazy shit happening, but they could figure out a way to, you know, tell his backstory and bring everybody up to speed on who Lobo is. It'd be fun to see some superhero fights, you know. All right, man, get out of here. Thanks for being on, bro. Talk to you later. Alright, I think that's gonna be good. Thanks, man. Yeah, call me later. Ooh, that's dusty. Not do that. Woo. Oh yeah, that's snagging. Alright. I'm gonna dust this off camera. No. Probably have my respirator on, so I'm breathing this stuff in. I'm not breathing it too much. All right, I will give it a good bath later, but I think I got all the parts I needed to sand down on that. Oh wait, nope. I lied. Little micro support here, and a whole bunch of. I missed this whole side. Increase the brightness down a little bit here. It's kicking in. All right. As I sand it now. Can't tell how much of this is support stuff and how much of this is like detail in the model, but I'm assuming these little metal bits should be pretty clean and straight. So these are definitely support marks. That, I don't know if that was a mistake. Oh, it was a mistake. Should have ran all the way across the back. I had a little bit of a print failure right there. That's okay. Nobody's gonna see that. Who cares? I don't care. Print failures happen. Now, when it comes to the actual statue part, obviously I want that to be perfect. But little detail, or the little bases, those are dismissible. Oh, okay, that makes more sense. Kind of a skewed X, across. All right, I got more to do. Let's see. I like to start with all the base pieces first. I don't know why. A lot of people like to go for the joy of like right into the statue, you know, like, and I am very excited because this is pretty cool. The texture and stuff in this Magneto print is really, really good. So I'm definitely looking forward to getting these parts processed and you know, ready to go. But you can't have your dessert until you get through the main stuff. So that's why I'm going to start with these base pieces and start fitting, doing a dry fit. It doesn't look like I'm going to have to do too much sanding because most of this is like a rock texture anyway. So there's not a whole lot I need to remove. Probably will need to do a dry assembly and figure out any of these little holes I need to fill, you know, patch in. I got a whole bunch of little micro supports I need to remove, like these little tiny little pieces you see here. Those are like little light supports. Those need to get pulled out. Some other little support structures I need to remove there, but let's get started cleaning this up. How many pieces are there? All right. And there's that base piece. All right, cool. All right. Ouch. Oh, I'm getting hungry. I probably should have eaten something before I started the stream. See down in the key. Cured resin. Yeah, that's good. It's too shiny. Sometimes that happens. I don't know what causes that. It doesn't hurt anything. Like from what I can tell, when you prime over it, you never really see it. But occasionally, like after when the resin's cured, it's like some of it collects or something, and it makes like a shiny spot that doesn't quite have the same, kind of dryness of the rest of the resin. It's not sticky or tacky or anything. It just looks shiny. Weird. All right. Still at 220. All right, that's good. All right, yeah, I may have to take a pause here and go find some is not going to go well. All I'm thinking about is my belly. I love the detail on these models. I don't know if you can see it, but like even the little what are these? The rebar has like a little bit of texture to it. Like it has little ribs. That's just good stuff. I'm not gonna worry too much about making these perfect. Hardly anybody's gonna see it. Oh, I definitely gotta match that. This has a really fine detail too for rocks. So I don't want to obliterate the texture by over sanding it too much either, because then you got weird shiny spots in your rocks, like weird, like little untextured areas. That's no fun. All right, so I believe this part goes here like this. This part has to go like that, right? Oh yeah. Sit down here. Gotta go first. Oh, looks like that key didn't hold its shape. That's why this guy isn't fitting. Yeah, see, so like in this particular instance, I had a weird, show it to you. I have a little weird misprint inside the key, like it's actually didn't fill in its shape all the way, so I'm gonna have to go in there and just get rid of all that material. It didn't hold it. Yeah, it didn't hold its shape. It's got it fill there at the bottom, and that's preventing the whole thing from going in. I need there we go. That'll work. This is also why I always put holes in the keys, because it makes it easier to, if you need to modify it at all. You can get in there with some nippers and just kind of cut it off, or in this particular instance, it's easy enough just to kind of sand down. I'm gonna go ahead and knock all this out. Contact now. All right. That looks pretty rad. Alright, so yeah, so that goes in there like that. I'm wearing safety goggles. I'm going to end up getting a little piece of resin in my eyes. Make sure you wear safety goggles, kids. Especially when you're randomly flicking little resin pieces around. Oh, and speaking of safety, I always got to make sure you keep, whenever you're doing your resin curing, you got to make sure you wear some UV glasses, because that stuff is no joke. You only get one set of eyes. Can't tell which of these little things are these rebar pieces, or are they support things I need to break off, but it looks like most of them are like rebar pieces. There's a couple little dimples from the supports in the rocks. I don't think I want to mess with them too much, because the primer will fill them in a little bit, and but at the same time I don't want it to look too much like a pattern, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to do a light sand here. Break it up a little bit. I also don't want to polish these rocks. Concrete or whatever this is. One thing I was not prepared for when I started in this hobby was how many times I was going to be painting rocks. It seems like that's like 80% of any model job or any project is prepping and painting rocks or concrete. I guess it makes sense. I mean, the ground is the ground, but so many rocks. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna need to fill that hole in, and that's okay. I was smart enough that I made them easily accessible. So go me. Nope. Super ugly dimples right there. Oh, this 220 paper is nice. It does not jump around. Barely have to push on it. Some of the little bumps are okay. When you get these little hollow bumps that it's just like a little crater. Gotta knock those down a little bit. I don't want to completely obliterate my rock texture either now. It's like, gotta walk this fine line. Doing bits here and there, your brain will fill in the rest. So you really just want to break up the pattern, because your brain will also recognize a pattern. So if it sees a whole bunch of like little spots in one spot, it's going to look for more spots, and then you're going to see all the spots. But if you break it up a little bit, you know, then your brain doesn't get to start making patterns. Stupid brain. I wish I'd put some glue on it first. I don't know if I can get it back out again. Yeah, okay, there it is. All right, let's go ahead and glue this bad boy in, because it's a pretty tight fit. I don't think I'm going to need to seal it, or I'm going to need to close the gap or anything. It's a pretty tight fit, so it should be good. Yeah, well. So if that goes in, and then what's the next piece? And then this goes over. This goes. How does this go? Ah, it goes like. Okay, yeah. So it goes like that. So that's got to fit around that. So this definitely has to go first. That kind of locks in like that. Oh yeah, that's going to be a tight fit. All right. Ooh. Stick my face in there. Huff and glue. Huff. Do people still huff things? No, that's funny. Alright, I think that glue might be done. Down the key a little bit. A little bit along. This thing's not going to come out. I don't know why I use that much. It is not going anywhere. Make sure I got all the little things out of it. Not even gonna worry about filling that hole because you can't see it. Alright. Back in your slot. Yeah, the inside rocks them. Nah, you know what? I'm not going to seal that because you can barely even, you can't even tell it. That's a gap right there. It just looks like a gap in the rock. Cool. Assembly. All right, let's get all these little micro guys out of here. I'm not so micro. said, I was hungry and I was going to go get something to eat, and I totally forgot. I got into this. It's a good hobby if you want to lose weight. I'm kidding. What's that? Oh, there's a lot of stuff down in there. My goodness. Apparently when I was making the supports for this, I did not want it to fail. I'm an over supporter when it comes to laying these models out for print. Some people try to do as minimum supports as possible. I go exactly the opposite. I would rather have a whole bunch of spots to clean up on successful print than have to rerun stuff, you know, to fix things. Actually, on this Cyclops statue I've got in the printer right now, one of the base, he's like standing on a sentinel head, you know, like a big robot head, and one of the tubes or things coming off of him didn't print. But instead of reprinting the whole big thing just to fix that one little spot, I went into the software and sliced off the little hose part and was able to set it as a separate object and just print just that. So that was you get, after you've been doing this for a little while, you get a little more creative with how you get to solve things. You know? Definitely something I did not know when I was just starting out. I've learned so much in the last 2 years doing this, and I've loved every minute of it. There we go. This statue has a whole lot of details in the base. I guess there's not a whole lot going on with the statue either. So I mean, as far as like character-wise, he has a pretty rad pose though. So, and you know, I finally have a good process for skin tone painting that I'm looking forward to doing. Even though he's wearing a helmet, you can't really see so much of his face. But I was struggling with getting skin tones correct for a long time, and now I finally, it's an arduous process. Lots of steps, but I understand the necessity of those steps now. So I'm looking forward to doing that. This Magneto though is going to be awesome. It's going to be so big. Oh, one of my supports fused into the model. That's lame, but nobody's gonna know. By the time I'm done with it, I won't even know it. Rust. Oh, it's ink. Apparently I used my nippers to open my ink bottle and ink all over it. I like to try to keep my tools somewhat, you know, clean. I also like to keep my workbench pretty clean. You know, at least not while and during, like obviously during a project, I'm, you know, like a toddler making a mess. But in between projects and in between stages, I like to work in stages. So like this is the prep stage. This is where I'm going to get all my sanding done, all my gluing, all the processing. You know, I'll be doing all that part, and then I pack it all away. So I pack away all my sandpapers, I clear up all my stuff, and then I go into the next phase, which is like the base paint, you know, that kind of stuff. a lot of little guys up in there. Am I sticking my head in the camera? No. I feel like I am. Adjust the focus here a little. Hard to see. Actually, you know what? What is the etiquette for YouTube live streams when you just need to, when you got to take a break? Do you put up like a be right back sign, or you just like, hey, I'm gonna be right back, and then you just leave the stream running? Like, I don't know. Little thing sticking out. Again, Bobby, nobody in a million years is going to notice that. All right, now we're starting to get some size. Look at that. That's fun. Oh, I missed a spot there. Somebody took my pliers. I'm gonna have to chat. That's what they used to call me, stubborn little chump. I'm just kidding. That would be mean. Why would you call somebody like that? It's a terrible thing to call a kid. Oh my god. Well, this is kind of nice actually. I can kind of stick my face in here like I'm used to doing without a camera, and it's far enough away that you can't really tell. Can't tell if that's it. Well, that's much better. All right, quit messing with my camera position. All right, let's see. Got a bunch of holes to fill. That's okay. Support divots are gonna be an issue, but the light doesn't catch them. Or maybe some here. Hold on, let's get some back here. Again, it's one of those things like your brain's picking up on those patterns, you know? Seeing those little divots, and then you start looking for more divots, and then you see all the divots, and that's no bueno. So we're gonna knock a handful of them down so that it disrupts that pattern in your brain hole. Yeah, I think I like this whole live streaming business. I mean, I guess it's easy to say right now, I got nobody really to interact with, but I will say, like I said, it feels good to, I don't know, think like I'm surrounded or I've got other people just to chat with, which is going to be nice. Highly doubt anybody's going to watch any of this content. Maybe fast forward through bits and pieces of it. So I'm not too concerned about what I'm talking about. Eventually, it might be a thing. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? Down a little. It seemed like it was a pretty tight fit though, so I don't think I have to worry about it too much. Make sure it drops in nice. So even just a few microns of swollen resin or expanded resin will make a gap. So sometimes it's nice to just knock that down a little bit. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I don't even need to fill those gaps either. That's fun. Alright, this is going to be tall. I still have this whole other piece to add wherever it goes. Right there. Goes on something like this. One thing I do love about Wicked models, they really pay attention to like where the keys go together really well. So it's like the segments are nice as far as how they're cut. Like you barely, I'm not even gonna worry about sealing these gaps because there's so much going on, but and the gaps are so tight and interlocked, you can't even really see them. All right, let's get this guy assembled. Making some progress today. Bobby Likey. I may have, so when I hollowed these parts out, I think I did them at 1.8 millimeters. A little bit thin for base pieces now in hindsight, but I don't think it's going to cause any issue because, you know, there's so much of it. There's so much base. The combined weight kind of will help stabilize it, but sometimes base pieces, most of the time for base pieces, I like to do those at like 2 or 2.5. Like I know the little metal cross piece I was just working on, and I know that's at 2.5, so that's going to be that's the heaviest piece. I didn't think about how much weight the rocks are going to need to support. Like when the whole model is done, I should have done this in a little bit thicker walls, you know, in the hollow. But I think it's going to be fun. It has to be fun because I'm in it now. Buddy, you can stay. I know you can't. Then no more Mr. Nice Guy. Oh, yeah, that looks good. Get out of here. Turning up this Spotify a little bit so I can get to enjoy it too. There we go. Cool, my audio is still separate. You guys are still hearing it. Can't get over how just nice this texture is. So yeah, if you guys are looking for a good Patreon for 3D modeling parts, I highly recommend the Wicked guys because do some good stuff. And there's so much. Like, they crank out so many models every month. It's kind of amazing. Like, I mean, it's a lot. I don't know how. I don't see, unless they just got like a small army of dudes down there. I think they're out of Brazil or somewhere in South America. But yeah, they crank out tons and tons of models each month. I've got a gigantic backlog of all my favorite characters, which I love. So there we go. Yeah, so next up, after, like I said, I've got a Cyclops on the printer right now. That's going to be fun. I got to decide what to do next, though. Is it going to be a Jean Grey? Is it going to be a Rogue? I've got a really good Gambit I want to do. You know, or I don't know what else. I got a Beast. I can definitely get that Beast done. Alright. How does his leg go in there? Let's see. Oh, it kind of goes in from the side. Okay. I see now. That makes sense. Am I clipping? No. I think I was just looking down on my mic when I... Anyway. Yeah, so it looks like it kind of slides in. That. Okay, so they'll need to be like flex that stuff out of the way a little bit, but it does kind of snap in there. So that's how his leg is going to look whenever it's in place. I want to just give it a little dry fit real quick. Oh, really went in there. Come on out, bud. Cut down this key, this is a tight fit. There we go. Yeah. Oh, well, I haven't sanded it, that's why it's so tight. But, yeah, this is not... Oh, man, look at that texture. Texture on that is just superb. I don't know how much of that you can see, but it's crazy. Leather. Leathery bits. Alright, that's cool. So I believe this part is ready for a final dusting and primer. That is super exciting. I was not expecting to get that much done that fast. Usually this stuff takes a minute. Here's a little setup there. It's like a partial rock. Oh wait, it's a tiny support. Yeah, I always like to you know, after I do the work on something like this, I like to come back to it the next day and like take a fresh set of eyes to it, you know. Because every time you look, you see something you missed previously. Have that a little junk there. So yeah, every time you end up looking, it's like you find little tiny things you want to touch on. But today's progress on this was a very satisfactory session. I don't usually get this much done. That's not true. I usually do, but I just mean like, usually it's more work. You know what I mean? Yeah, this thing's gonna look at how big that is. That's awesome. I'm so excited. Alright, let me check the get back to work on this cape. Let me get set up enough. Actually, I think I'm gonna take a quick food, health and safety break. But let's do a dry fit of the base. Oh, I got some junk in the corners here. Oh, what's going on? Oh, there's so much. I love this little, it's like a little 3-sided file. This thing really comes in handy for getting into like right angles like this. I mean, it's coarse. It's a metal, it's a metal file. So really, you can only use it when you're not worried about making gouges in a texture. This is all gonna be hidden. I'm absolutely not worried about that at all right now. This is really just knocking out material. Ouch. Try not to stab ourselves in the finger. Alright, let's see here. I do need to knock out some of this. Just a little bit. It's getting dust. Just a tiny bit. Little dimples here that might cause it to sit uneven. So now this thing is super tall. It's really hard to keep it on camera. It's easier when pieces were small. That's true. Like I said, this is my first quarter scale statue, so I feel like it's gonna be weird going back to 1/6 scale. You know, when I do the Cyclops next. I hope it's not gonna be a letdown. But I have so many spaces to fill with 1/6 statues in my house that or in my room, I should say. My house. My wife's gonna let me put statues of, Lobo everywhere or in the kitchen. But yeah, I've got so many slots for statues now. I'm super excited about filling them up. I've got one long horizontal spot above my television that I have tentatively reserved for the Ninja Turtles, all 4 Ninja Turtles, and a bunch of maybe even the other other characters like Splinter and Shredder and stuff. But it's got to be the trick is like the spot is kind of short, like it's not very tall. I think it's maybe like 14 inches tall, and wide, like 2-3 feet wide. So yeah, it's like 3 feet wide. So I mean, it's a lot of space horizontally, but not so much vertically. So turtles being kind of squatty, I feel like is a good solution for that. And I have a line on some models I want to download for that already. So they're not part of the Patreons that I'm on, so I'm gonna have to buy them individually, which sucks, but at the same time, got a very specific application. I'm not going to start filling that out until I got through a little bit of my existing backlog of stuff, because like I said, Wicked's cranking out some models all like a bunch every month, and they just released some Ghost Rider models, and the Ghost Rider models are going to be pretty nice. They've got they've got several different, they've got a couple different versions of them, I think, but a couple different like swap out heads and stuff. But they're super long because obviously Ghost Rider's motorcycle is got some length to it too. So I haven't looked at the measurements yet, but if I can proportionally scale the measurements up so that it'll fit in the space that I have, that might be super rad too, to have just a gigantic, Ghost Rider in that spot. So many things, so many things to do. Oh yeah, I'm not gonna forget. Need you forehead myself. I think I may have to end this. I'll go ahead and finish this. I'm not super hungry. There we go. Oh, sorry. I'm showing what I'm doing, am I? So I just want to test fit this into this. Alright. Man, that is super duper tall. I'll try to lay it on its back so you guys can see it. Oh, there it goes. I just felt it snap in. Yeah, see? I can't even get it all on camera. It's so tall. That's gonna be awesome. I'm gonna have to rethink these camera angles though. I may have to do more of an over the shoulder shot, because from the top down this is gonna be a little different. Yeah, pretty cool. All right. Man, it's really awkward to set seat. Oh, actually, no, that was not a print mistake. Those little lines are purposely removed so that the bottom can come together. So, all right, that's cool. Glad I didn't do anything about that. Oh, this gonna look so awesome. All right, get you out of here for now. All right, cape. Let's see, what are we gonna want to do here? So the good thing about this cape is like it's not textured, so I can really just sand the crap out of it. So that's pretty nice. I'm going to need a gap filler though, and I think this plastic putty is going to be my best bet here. This stuff is pretty good. All right, actually change plans. I need to grab something to eat because I am hungry, so I'm going to go do that, and then I will be back to finish this. Don't know if I want us to stop the stream. Yeah, I think I'm going to stop the stream. This is a good test run anyway. This is my first, so I say, what is it, an hour and 52 minutes? That's good for a test. We'll probably resume or be back online in a few minutes.